Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 30-Day Blog Challenge podcast. My name is João, and this is a show for bloggers, all about blogging. On this episode, we'll be talking with Brian Cox from the travelvlogger.com. Setting up your blog can be frustrating for a beginner. However, it doesn't have to be if you take the appropriate steps right from the start. Today, Brian and I are going to be discussing this, his blogging journey, and so much more. Alright, let's get started. Okay, Brian, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It's great to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing really great today. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So, Brian, for those listeners who are not familiar with your work, tell them a little about yourself and what the travelvlogger.com is all about.
Okay, so my name is Brian Cox, but most people online know me as the travel vlogger, as in video blog. And I make travel videos all around the world. They're kind of like travel video guides, so they kind of give helpful information on people that are traveling to a destination, give people an idea what to expect at a destination, and normally my most popular videos are the top 10 things to do. You can find me mainly on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but I'm also on Twitter and Google Plus and a couple other the smaller platforms. But most of the stuff you can find is on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook
All right.
under the travel vlogger.
Nice. So, you only do videos or you do photography as well?
I do photography as well. I specialize in video, and my main focus is on video. But I have all the equipment, and I've always enjoyed taking photographs. So if I have extra time on a location, I'll normally take photos that I like. They're generally for me, but they do go on my Instagram. So there's a lot of photos you can see there.
Nice. So, Brian, everyone should understand their reason for becoming a blogger. What was your initial reason for getting into it?
It's funny, like when I first started, it was, geez, it was like 2011, and even before then, I did it for a couple years. Before, I never knew anything about video editing, so I just one day picked up a camera, and I guess like my overall goal when I started was to kind of become like a reporter, and I guess in my mind, I figured it'd be really great to travel the world for free. Because my passion is obviously traveling and exploring and seeing new places. So my goal, I guess, at that time was I thought that if I kept practicing, that maybe one day I could be a producer of a travel TV show, or possibly be the host of a TV show with travel being the main concept.
So, did you know that you wanted to make this a full-time gig, or were you just getting into it for fun?
I was getting into it for fun, and I didn't really have high expectations. It was in 2008, at the end of 2008, 2009. I had been working in hospitality, so I have a degree in hospitality management. So I've always been working in tourism industry and stuff like that. And then I don't know if you remember, that was right around the time when like the financial markets pretty much in the United States and pretty much the rest of the world hit a bad spot. Luckily, I had some money saved up, so I was like, hey, I'm going to go out traveling, and I'm going to just buy a video camera. And the idea was actually to make like a proper vlog, like more like a video diary. But as I started making videos, the funny thing was I for some reason didn't really like that style of video. I thought it was a little too amateurish, even though, like I said, I had no experience. So for about the first year or two, I just practiced video editing on my own, just by watching tutorial videos on YouTube, how to edit videos and stuff like that. And after about 2 years of doing it, I created the travel blogger, because at that point I thought that my videos were good enough to share. Because in the beginning, I didn't even want to share the videos with my mom.
So let's talk a little about your domain name. We always say that having a domain name that is memorable, simple, and ideally not too long is key, right? So after deciding on your niche, how did you decide on the name of your blog or vlog?
Well, the word vlog was when I first got it was pretty new. Today, most people know what a vlog or a vlogger is, but when I started the travel blogger in 2011, most people kept going vlog, what's that? Which made me kind of rethink it. But when I initially bought the domain, I assumed that even if I wasn't successful, that I could probably sell the name to someone, even though it hasn't happened or anything like that. That I've been successful enough to where I kept it. But I chose it because I thought that they were great search words, like SEO. Ideally, I wanted it to be just travel vlogger, but that domain was taken, so I added the word "the" in front. It's still really great. I mean, if you search travel vlogger, a lot of times my stuff will come up just because my name is on so many things.
Right. What about choosing your TLD? Did you absolutely want it to be .com? And do you think in today's market that .com is still the way to go?
I'm not, I don't have a ton of information. I'm not highly educated in this aspect of the internet, but I believe that the .com is by far the most important. I know as the years have progressed, there's .org, and I know now countries are having their own ending, which I think like Portugal's .pt.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Yeah. So I don't think it's like a deal breaker, but I think that everybody, especially slightly older people, if you're not a teenager right now,
right,
but if you're a little bit older, everyone thinks .com just because it was the first. And the only real reason they've come up with these other endings is because they've just run out of .com possibilities.
Right.
Which shows you right away that it's the most popular. That's not to say that you can't make a website successful with other endings, but for me, if I was to say to create another website, I would try my hardest to make it a .com.
Right. So in your early days, how much time would you say it went into getting the travel vlog up and running? So since the moment you say, I want to make a vlog, sorry, and the vlog is live, that little period, how long it was?
You mean like how many hours a day, or do you mean how?
No, I'm saying since the moment you wanted to create a blog, all right, so let's say you wanted to create a blog to tomorrow. How much time did you went since the first idea of creating a blog until the blog is up and running live?
Oh, wow. Well, no, that's a good point. I think a good amount of time is anywhere between like 3 and 6 months.
Oh.
So to give you an example, when I started the travel vlogger, I obviously had it in my mind that I wanted to create a new platform from my original videos that I didn't think were very good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got the name in the summer of 2011, and then my first video didn't go up till like the end of November or December. And the reason that is I think that, they always tell you content is king. And if you're going to start something, you're going to start putting a lot of effort into promoting it. And when you do finally decide, hey, I want to do this, and you want to push it and tell all your friends and possibly even spend money advertising some of your content, that you want to make sure that you have a library of content. Like I would say, like you want to have around 10 videos, or at least 5 or 10. So that way, by all that effort you use to get someone to see you, you don't want them just to see one thing and that's all they can see. You want them to explore and hopefully see more of your content.
Right, obviously.
And that's why I think, I always try and tell people that ask me that the idea would be to have a good start and to say have 10 videos before you actually go and make a push to ask for subscribers and followers. And that way, when someone sees one of your videos, if they like it, they can keep watching and seeing other stuff. Because that's how we are as human beings. If we like something, we naturally want to kind of research it or look for more of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So when you say videos, it can be articles or text or whatever content you want to create, right?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, like for instance, if it's a blog, I'd say you want at least 10 blog posts.
Right.
Now that even though I would have those 10 blog posts before I necessarily launched. And then what I would do is one day on week 1, I would promote one of the posts, and on week 2, I would promote one of the second posts. And that way, by having 10 weeks worth of content already ready, you're just posting stuff that's ready and doesn't take much work. And in that time, you can be, say week 1, you're posting the first thing, well, you could be also working on post 11. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have this nice this buffer of stuff to do. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it always works out that easily, or that I necessarily follow that rule. But in the beginning, it's nice because it is. A lot of people don't realize it's a full-time job. It's 24 hours a day. I mean, of course, you sleep, but when you run your own business, it's not like you clock in, you clock out. You're kind of there running every aspect of it. And, to me, one of the hardest parts is actually the website. I have no interest in the creating a website. I like the design aspect, but I don't like the coding or any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always using something like WordPress, and I absolutely hate the website part of it. And for me, it's boring. I mean, for me, what I really like is the traveling and creating the videos and the creative stuff. And some people find they're the opposite. Some people find that they absolutely love the writing and they like the website, but they don't like taking photos or they don't like contacting clients. You have many roles when you take on one of these jobs.
Right. And what about your blogging platform? You mentioned WordPress, right? How did you choose your blogging platform? And are there any you would recommend?
I think right now there's a lot out there that are really easy. I would tell someone, unless they know how to create websites, which I'm assuming they don't, to go with the easiest possible and something like WordPress.
Right.
Now there's other ones. I see on YouTube, I get this commercial over and over and over. I think it's Wix or something. It's driving me crazy. Because it's like every commercial. No, I think WordPress is a good one because it's very easy to just like plug and play. You can just add photos and add posts, and you don't really need to know much about making websites, which is nice. Where before, maybe 5-10 years ago, you had to know how to code and do all this other stuff. You can just basically insert a photo and you watch it in real time. And I've actually set up my website in such an easy way because I make videos and I'm a little bit different than a blogger. I don't really care about web traffic.
Right.
My whole design is to have people watch my videos. And I've created my website as just kind of like a business card. So when someone goes to my website, they have like 5 options. They can either go to my YouTube channel, they can go to my Facebook, my Instagram, or Twitter. And then the other option is like you see like an About Me page or a Contact Me page.
And a media kit.
Right. Exactly, and a media kit. And I mean, that's something you won't actually normally see from a lot of people. But I like to keep my media kit on the website because when I contact people that I want to work with, I can send them a link instead of a download, which everyone's, when you get an email from someone you don't know, no one really likes to download something.
Right.
So if they can just click a link, then they just go to this page and they can see it real easy. And that's I think that's a good rule when creating a blog or a vlog is to always be one click away. You want to make people finding you as easy as possible. And that is the real key, I think, to being successful in this.
You're totally right. So there are a few costs people may run into when building a blog. And a lot of people are not aware of this. Did you incur a lot of costs in the beginning stage of this venture? I mean, without all your equipment, cameras and all that, but specifically on the website. Did you have to spend a lot of money?
I mean, it depends on what you consider a lot. I think to purchase the name for 2 years and to have 2 years of web hosting. So when you get a website, there's obviously buying the domain name, and then you have to use some company that hosts it. Now, you can host it yourself, but I wouldn't recommend it because that means that you need a dedicated computer running 24 hours a day. Otherwise, like for instance, if the computer, say there was a power surge, well, then your website would go down as well. So these hosting platforms, I would recommend it to most people that, unless you had a massive business like Amazon, then maybe you do it yourself. But I think the hosting is somewhere around, like, it goes anywhere between like say $3 to $8 per month. And then I think the website to purchase the website name was, I think it's tough to say. I think it's maybe $15 a year, but it depends. A lot of times when you first start, there's a lot of deals.
Right.
So basically, I use GoDaddy as an example. Not that I like highly promote them or anything like that, but I mean I've used them from the beginning mainly because they were really easy to use. But when I first started, for instance, it's like 50% off the hosting, and then after the 2 years, then the price goes up a little bit. So I think I just repurchased 2 years for the web name, and that was $30. And then I'm looking at maybe $150 to $200 for another 2 years of hosting. So you're looking at like about $200. So $100 a year is just to have the website, and that's if you do it yourself.
Right. So you kept the cost pretty low.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
My main expense always is equipment, so camera equipment and computers.
Right.
No, that's not to say even if you wanted to be a video blogger, many people are very successful with just a cell phone. So you don't really need a bunch of really fancy equipment. I just personally, the way I've taken mine is I like to make the highest possible quality.
Of course.
Is where I focus on.
Right. And now that you are an experienced blogger, I assume you know the value of SEO. Did you have any idea the importance of it when you were starting the travel vlog?
Not really, not really at all. I thought, just make this stuff, and I assumed, I guess, everyone was gonna love it and find it. But no, it wasn't really like that. But I did learn quickly after the importance of SEO. And the reason I kind of found it wasn't because I necessarily read stuff or learned tricks. How I helped myself with SEO is I started to think about, like, so for instance, let's say I make a top 10 video on things to do in Porto. I would think, well, okay, who wants to see this video? And how would that person try to find this video?
Exactly.
And that's kind of how I created the SEO. So it wasn't like, I know some people go places and they search for most commonly used search words and stuff like that. And that's a good way as well. But generally how I do it, even to this day, is I like to think of how would someone actually ask the question to Google or to YouTube. What is there to do in Porto? Top 10 things to do Porto. 10 best activities Porto.
Right.
So I think that's the example. So it also depends on your topic. There's a lot of different niches within the travel, and people have different personalities. So the key, I think, is to think about how someone would find it. So SEO, I would say, is way more important than a lot of people know it now and they think it's important, but it's actually like kind of a pillar or cornerstone to doing this correctly. At least in the beginning. If you've built up a massive audience, it's not as important because you have this audience and they'll push it instantly. But in the beginning, getting found and having your article found or your video, the SEO is vital.
Right. And Ryan, what's your strategy for monetizing your site?
Well, as for my website, like I said, I'm not concerned with the traffic at all. So I don't look at any form of monetization off my website. All my monetization comes from YouTube advertising. Is a small percentage, but actually how I make money today is I do sponsorships and collaborations with tourism boards, tour operators, hotels.
All right.
And then also a lot of because I focus in making high quality content, a lot of times the travel vlog has actually gotten me professional clients. So for instance, I might make a promotional video for a hotel that's not part of the travel blogger, but how they find me is through the travel blogger.
Right. So kind of as a freelancer video producer, right?
Exactly. That's a bulk of what I do. Well, I would say freelance videographer, but also social media consultant, or I've also managed social media for people.
So for the new blogger, getting their content seen can be a struggle. How do you distribute and promote your content?
Um, well, in the beginning, it's just sharing it, and really trying to get it. Everything is really important getting it to the right people. You know, in the beginning, when I first started, I thought it was always about getting as many people to see it. That still applies today, but the focus now goes to getting the people that would be most interested in that content to see it. So, for instance, now as I've built up my brand and I do projects with tourism boards, I actually advertise. So, for instance, if I do a video for, we'll use Porto as an example. So, if I do a video of Porto again,
Mm-hmm.
um, and let's say I put it on Facebook, I will boost it, which is, to promote it
Yeah, yeah.
with money. I'll boost it, not using a lot of money, but maybe $10 or $15. And I'll boost it first off to people in Portugal because they're the people that have the most sentiment towards the video
All right.
because they're Portuguese. And also for tourism, the number one thing people do is the number one reason why people travel is to visit friends and family. So by me putting a focus on that video sharing with Portuguese people, they're most likely to share the video with their friends or with people, friends and family that don't live there as a way to say, hey, you need to come visit. And if you go to my Facebook page and you look at some of the more popular videos, you'll see that people, like say the Czech Republic videos, you'll see that they actually say, oh, I mean, they might say it in Portuguese or they might say it in English, or they'll tag their friend as the comment. And that's what's really good. Also, I advertise on Facebook. I'll promote that same post to people my audience, which mainly is the United States, but other English-speaking markets like Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, stuff like that. But I'll specifically choose people that have said on their Facebook that they like traveling. Oh, and basically by doing that, instead of just sending it to everybody, because not everybody is a huge travel fan. But if someone has made the point on their Facebook profile to say that they like traveling, well, then they're more likely to like this video than someone that doesn't. So if I am spending money to promote something, you want to be clever in your approach to maximize the money you are spending.
Do you also do some email outreach? So contact any website, they might share your content or?
So for instance, like I did the one of my more successful projects was the top 10 places to visit in the Czech Republic. And when I was there, I worked with the National Tourism Board, but on that trip, I also went to all these different regions and met the regional tourism offices.
Mm-hmm.
When that video was finished, I contacted them. Even though they knew me, I just contacted them to tell them that the video is out and for the greatest amount of success that if they shared it shortly after I posted it, we would reach the most amount of people. So those were people that were like kind of shareholders in the video.
Right.
But I don't ever email someone that I don't know and say, hey, I made this video. I think that's spam personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of that, people sending me stuff like that. I mean, I understand what they're doing, but it's just, I don't know. I feel it's kind of lame, and I don't think it's very successful. And I think that you can spend your time better. How many of those emails do you think you can send in an hour, and what is the success rate of those emails? I think maybe 1% to 2% is the success chance, and then you spent an hour. Where that hour you could have spent contacting clients to do the next job.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right, Brian, we're nearing the end of the show. Let's wrap it up with a few fun rapid-fire questions. Brian, are you ready?
I'm super ready.
All right, let's do it.
I'm super ready.
First question, who's your blogging hero and why?
Blogging hero and
have a
why?
Hero.
No, it's funny because I make videos. I don't really read blogs, but I guess we'll go with vlogging hero. Vlogging hero. Right now, I'm watching a lot of Yoon Olsen or John Olsen. He's got a YouTube channel.
Nice. Do you have a favorite quote?
Favorite quote? Jeez. I feel like I had them, but now my mind's blank. I'm not good at this rapid fire, apparently. Okay, okay, go for it.
Let's go for the third one. Pretend that you decide to start a new blog today or tomorrow. What would your new blog be about?
It'd be just about adventure, doing like long distance stuff like bicycling across Europe or taking a motorcycle from Alaska to Argentina.
Nice. Would you still do a vlog or a blog?
Vlog. Always
Nice.
vlog.
Always vlog. And where do you see yourself in your vlog in 5 years?
Oh, in 5 years. Well, hopefully with more followers.
Hopefully, yeah. And what's the best thing about being a vlogger?
Uh, well, I feel like it's not really a job. Well, yeah, here's a two for one. Confucius quote is the if you do what you like, you'll never work another day in your life.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I guess what I like is that I enjoy what I'm doing, and I create my own schedule. So if I want to work at 3 in the morning and sleep until 4 p.m., it's at my leisure. So I'm always free for opportunity.
Nice. And finally, last one. Can you give our listeners three tips for starting out their new blogging or vlogging journey?
Okay. For vlogging, number one, keep it super simple. Number two, be patient. And number three, plan. Plan. It doesn't just happen by accident.
Uh-huh. That could apply to blogging as well. Or you have
Yeah.
nice.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really a blogger,
All
so
right. But
but I'm sure it's the same.
yeah, it could apply for blogging. All right, Brian, thank you so much for this little interview. It was great, man.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me, Zhao.
All right, I'd like to thank once again Brian Cox from the travelvlogger.com for joining us today. And of course, thanks to you, the listener, for tuning in to the 30-day blog challenge. If you're looking for further tips and tricks regarding today's show, we have just created an epic new guide on getting your site ready to go live, setting up a blog. Don't forget, click on the link below to check it out. Stay tuned for more exciting interviews with some of the top bloggers and vloggers on the web. Until next time, blog on and blog often.